Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. In this update, we've got a quick shot of colder air heading into the east this weekend, but across the middle of the country, we've got plenty of warm conditions. In fact, some record-breaking temperatures. But it's all out west as this trough will be starting to get its act together, and as the jet stream starts to buckle heading into early next week, that is the storm system that will be moving across, bringing multiple rounds of severe weather. So I appreciate all my subscribers out there. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, I'm pretty much here on a daily basis, putting out a lot of content to keep you well ahead of the storm. So hit the subscribe button and follow along throughout 2024. So here's the overall setup this morning. We've got some showers that we're continuing with. It's coming out of the southeast, out of Atlanta here through Charlotte and back into Richmond. But also it's cold enough to snow up there into Vermont and New Hampshire and coming out of Maine. But there's the cold front that's coming out of those areas in Canada. And that's the system that will be diving southbound and southeast heading into this weekend, bringing that quick shot of colder air for much of the east. And in its wake, you can see that 540 line, that separation where that colder air really starts to align as we head into later tonight, as those temperatures rapidly start to fall. And as they do, that's going to be bringing some sporadic snow showers in its wake, starting off in those areas into Milwaukee, back into the Chicago region. That will fishtail across areas of Michigan, but also start to swing down into Indiana, through areas into Kentucky. I'm not expecting much, but say a dusting to maybe 1 to 2 inches into those areas over the next day or two. And there's the temperatures. Here's the temperature anomalies going into this weekend. Those temperatures are going to fall. So it's a rapid change of what you've seen as of late with those temperature anomalies. 10, 15, almost upwards to 20 degrees below average temperatures at times. And some of these highs will be into the 20s and 30s into those areas. And that little snow swath, that little clipper system that will be diving southeast will bring, like I mentioned, you know, a dusting to maybe 1, maybe even 2 inches of snow into these areas going from later tonight heading in through the day on Saturday, as that quick colder shot of air will be moving across into those areas into the northeast. So we're going to delve into the forecast, but first, a word from my sponsor. Are you fed up with constant annoyance of spam calls to the extent that you've stopped answering your phone just altogether? I can relate. I was getting bombarded with over 20 phone calls a day. So here's a list of all the blocked phone numbers on my phone. The culprit: data brokers collecting and selling your personal information from your address to your phone number. But fear not, because I found the solution. Aura, the proud sponsor of today's video. This handy app is a game changer, offering comprehensive suite of features from credit monitoring to secure VPN, from browsing, and even an encrypted vault for your passwords. Aura is an all-in-one solution. They take the initiative on your behalf to put in the effort to remove all your personal data from the vast reaches of the internet. See, this is my encrypted vault. I've got 14 items in there, and here's a list of all my activity of some of the data brokers that have been removed from my personal information off the internet. Experience convenience of Aura's identity theft protection and privacy features, and all in one place. No need to juggle multiple apps. It's that easy. I challenge you to try it out for 2 weeks. Click on the link in the description below, aura.com/pal, and enjoy a free 2-week trial, absolutely free. If you're likely as impressed as I am, you'll likely want to continue using it. Click the link in the description, try Aura for 2 weeks, and join me thanking Aura for sponsoring today's video. Now go ahead and get protected. Let's talk about the setup for Sunday, because yeah, it's going to be, that system will be moving out. It's a quick moving system, quick shot of colder air, but pretty clear skies. It's going to be a really pleasant, nice weekend to you know, for end of the February time frame. But as we head into early next week, that is a system that's going to be forming off the West Coast. Will be starting to get its act together, and it all starts to take shape on Monday. So here's here's the storm complex that we're going to be highlighting across areas off the coast of California. But it's also the jet stream that will start to buckle, bringing some colder air out from Alaska up there in the Northwest Territories. That is the system. That's the northern branch that I'm concerned about, that's going to cause the lift mechanism and likely bringing all the severe storms heading into Tuesday and Wednesday. But out ahead of it, we are going to be seeing more rain opportunities for those areas in Southern California on Monday. That will actually swing through areas into Phoenix, getting into Utah, where they could have some even thunder snow in Salt Lake City there. And that will be moving across the southern branch, but the northern branch is this one that I'm mainly concerned about as that system starts to buckle. But with that southwest wind, we're going to have a rapid surge of temperatures. It's already warm across these areas in the middle of the country, but those temperatures are going to start elevating even higher heading into Monday. And these temperature anomalies are almost off the chart for February standards. 20 to 25, upwards to almost 30 degrees below, above average temperatures, with that rapid heat surging all the way to the Canadian border. But look at the beginning stages of much colder air with a rapid change in temperatures, and we're going to be seeing some sharp temperature gradients as a very fast moving system will be moving across from west to east, and that temperature gradient will be really sharp at times. And that's the gradient that we're concerned about as that jet stream buckles to contend with some severe storms. But out ahead of it, we got plenty of heat, folks. That is Monday, and they've upped the ante now. 39 record high temperatures throughout the United States going into Monday, as those temperatures into the 90s in parts of Texas there, all those areas in circles. That would be a new record high temperatures. Low 80s for Oklahoma, mid 70s for Kansas, and that surges to Iowa with 70s all the way up there to them, Nebraska, and going all the way to the Canadian border, folks. Yeah, plenty of warm conditions. This is why you're seeing 25, 30 degrees above average, because obviously it's not normal to be 61 degrees in North Dakota at the end of February. And it doesn't stop there. I mean, Tuesday just is going to be just as hot, if just not even hotter for February standards, as those 90s start to surge out of Texas, surge all the way through the middle of the country, with 70s now through Missouri, even low 70s for Illinois, getting all the way up into Wisconsin. Yeah, mid 60s. So folks, that is plenty warm air, and that record breaking temperatures could be 80 records unfold just for those 2 days. But notice some much colder conditions with that cold blast coming out of Alaska and coming out of Northwest territories up there into Canada. And that's going to be entering into Montana, going into the Dakotas. So a rapid change, right, with the sharp temperature gradients and a sharp plunge in temperatures will be diving southbound. And going into that Tuesday night, that's where we got to be concerned as this jet stream starts to buckle. And it's that southeastern quadrant. Yeah, plenty of warm conditions. You've got the upward rising motion air, and just to the southeast of there, that's where we're concerned about severe storms. So right now, the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted that risk for severe storms now into Chicago, through Springfield, back into Indianapolis, through areas into St. Louis, through Paducah, down here towards Springfield, Missouri, into Little Rock, as well as into the Memphis region. I think it stops right there in the southeastern quadrant of Oklahoma. This could be a very fast moving system for multiple days, quick moving system, and it is going to bring that colder air and some snow in its wake, dropping through the Rockies, dropping through Wyoming there, through the Dakotas. And you can see the low pressure will be starting to get its act together, going out ahead of the system, with those tight isobars starting to tighten up, but then very sharp temperature gradient and a quick blast of colder air on the backside, and very windy. So those wind chills are going to be dropping like a rock. And then going into Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, look how fast it moves, folks. That low pressure center's now up into Canada, and we're likely going to be seeing some stronger thunderstorms through portions of Michigan here back into Ohio, and those will likely be on the strong side. Very gusty winds through Pittsburgh into western PA, but start to turn severe as we head into Kentucky and back through these areas into western Tennessee, through the Arkansas region. Right here, we could be seeing some larger hail and some isolated tornadoes around the leading edge of that storm complex of the jet stream that will be moving across. Heading into Wednesday, this is the likely setup for severe storms down to Jackson, into Nashville, through Knoxville, back into Huntsville, into Montgomery, towards Atlanta, into the Birmingham region, out into Memphis. That will be coming out of Little Rock and heading into the Jackson region. So this is the favorite area for severe storms, and this would be all three modes. And likely this is pretty far out from the Storm Prediction Center to put a risk out here as they did it yesterday, day 6, day 7. So yeah, a lot of ensembles are agreeing with this very dynamic system for those multiple days of severe storms. But look at the temperatures. I mean, this is your wind chill. I put this on the map because the wind chills, you're going to be feeling it because we're going to have seen some very high winds on the backside of that cold front. So that's going to be a rapid change, right? It's not 61 anymore. Now it's going to feel like in below zero, if not below teens, going into Wednesday morning of next week. And those sharp temperature gradients, you can see it. The feels like it's going to be about 40 degrees difference on either side of that front as that moves in. So that's going to be a rapid change. And of course, this will moderate the further south it gets. And it actually, in fact, it never even reaches the coast. It might even back up as a warm front, because we're starting to get early indications that a lot of times as you transition, we're going into out of meteorology winter, heading into meteorology spring. I mean, would be February the 29th now for Thursday, because a leap day. This would be technically the last day of meteorology winter. That cold front doesn't make it all the way down to the Gulf Coast, and that's pretty normal for this time of year. And in fact, it could actually back up as a warm front. And if that does happen, we could actually have a Thursday event as well across those areas into the deep south for staying in the warm sector and bringing some severe storms. But nonetheless, it will be causing that overrunning type setup and bringing rain showers back in those areas that kind of missed out on the first setup, through Texas, through Oklahoma, through Arkansas. And that would be a storm complex that would move through the southeast heading into that Thursday, and then going into your next Friday of next week, as the warm front will continue to buckle and move back up. Then that will be lifting those rain showers in its wake through the southeast, through the Tennessee Valley, and up here towards Kentucky again, and back through the Carolinas. But notice what happens out west, right? That's more rain, right? Coming in for the Pacific Northwest, for Washington and Oregon and those areas into Northern California. Look what happens, folks. Yes, we have yet another potential atmospheric river event setting up for those first couple of days as we go into March for next weekend, as again, very dynamic El Nino driven jet stream further south. And then you've got that jet coming down from the northwest here. That will bring an abundance amount of moisture back again for those areas across the northwest, but especially back into Northern California, into the Bay Area. In fact, the Climate Prediction Center has already highlighted this risk for excessive rainfall again. I mean, this area has been pounded lately, and yet, unfortunately, they're going to be getting hit hard again. So right now, we do have a moderate risk for excessive rainfall for the Bay Area into Northern California, heading into that March 1st as we start March, and along the coast, really across Washington and Oregon, and really all of California starts impacting those first couple of days of March, really through the 5th. So we could be looking at multiple days, multiple rounds of flooding rains again across those same areas that really got to get hit hard. And then we also have another complex that will be impacting the southeast with more heavy rain, likely East Texas, heading into the southeast, eating away those droughts in Louisiana and Mississippi again. So it's taken a drastic difference of what you've seen as of late with that exceptional drought just 2 months ago a massive dent, and we probably want to be looking at a drought for in a couple of weeks across these areas, as they've seen so much rain as of late, and that looks to continue for them. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update where I protect you before and after storm.